Hi, and welcome back to Reflect Forward. I'm your host, Kerry Siggins, and I hope you're having a great day today. So I want to talk about amplifying your message today. Leaders have the opportunity, more so than ever, to make a huge impact on the lives of their employees, the lives of their communities, and the lives of everybody in the world if we step into that type of responsibility. And to do that, you have to really focus on amplifying your message. And it's something that I've been working on quite a bit. And so I thought I would share some of my tips. I began speaking and writing about employee ownership and being the kind of leader who inspires ownership thinking quite some time ago. I'm passionate about creating a company that gives back to its employees and the world. I believe in building the middle class from the middle out. I also believe that leaders need to take a stand and amplify their message of good. My message of good is simple. Create meaningful, dignified jobs that allow people to work with purpose, compensate them well, offer flexibility, and share in the success of the company. Be a leader who is worth following. So I started my blog after a long trail run on a cold fall day in Colorado. It was almost raining, leaves were flying everywhere. I was wondering what the heck I was doing out there running anyway. But I was pondering the purpose of my life, and I was thinking about how I wanted to become a better speaker, a better communicator. I remembered a line out of a random book I had read. I can't remember what it was. And it talked about going back to doing what you love to do as an adolescence. I loved to write as a kid, as a teenager. In fact, I even thought about going to journalism school. But I stopped right after high school when I decided to go to engineering school instead, because you don't write much in engineering school. During that run, it was crystal clear to me that I needed to start writing again. If I wanted to be a speaker, if I wanted to make an impact, if I wanted to change the world, it needed to start with my writing. To amplify my message, I knew I had to have a message, to speak on my message. I have to be known for being a thought leader. And I needed to get really busy because I was not doing that, at least not on the scale and the stage that I wanted. So as soon as I got home from that run, I sat in front of my computer and started researching blogging websites. By the end of that weekend, I had built my own website using a simple drop and drag website builder called Weebly. It was very simplistic, but hey, who cares? I at least just did it. And I was actually really proud of it because I don't see myself as a website builder. And I was up and writing. The more I wrote, the more people noticed. Then I was asked to write for industry publications, and I was asked to speak at various events. And now I'm writing a book. That is how you amplify your message. Millions may not know me, but I am impacting those I reach, and that's what matters. I believe in my heart that if I keep practicing, keep putting my words of equity, dignity, and strong leadership out into the world, my message will continue to be amplified. All right, so how do you do that? You got to put it into practice, right? First of all, get involved. Getting involved in organizations where your passions lie is the foundation for amplifying your message. By being involved, you get a seat at the table, and that's really important. You get to shape the way others think and learn how others view the world. If you want to have influence, you must build your own reputation as a thought leader and as a person who puts in the time and effort to advance the movement. And it also helps you build your brand, which is a great segue into my next segment, build your personal brand. To amplify your message, you need to have a brand that others recognize. When people think about personal brand building, they often think of influencers like the Kardashians, and they're turned off. But in reality, we all have a personal brand, whether we acknowledge it or not. So why not be intentional about your brand building? Here's a simple way to do it. Step 1, identify what you want to be known for. This is the foundation for your brand. In my case, I want to be known as a thought leader in business and leadership, in particular, building an employee-owned company that creates wealth for its employees and closes the income inequality gap. Step 2, consider your audience. Who do you want to reach and why? Be specific. The broader your audience, the harder it is to connect with them. It's better to start small and build a tribe, then expand your reach. Why? Because if you build a tight-knit, loyal following, they will help you amplify your message. If you start too broad, you might water down your message and get lost in the noise of the millions of others trying to tell their own stories, trying to amplify their own messages. Step 3, develop your message. What is the tone you want to take and why? What will resonate with your audience? People love stories and connect deeper on shared experiences. What stories do you want to tell? And how will you tell them? Be authentic. Step 4, get started and be consistent. The only way to build a brand is to put your brand out there for the world to see. Develop your plan to build your brand and amplify your message. And be consistent. The more people see your brand, the more they will begin to recognize it. Step 5, get professional headshots and photos that represent your personality. This is so important. I recommend this for everybody. You should book a photo shoot where you take multiple types of shots so that you can use it on multiple platforms. It is very important that you have a handful or multiple or many pictures that you can use to build your brand. All right, moving on from building your brand. Use social media in a smart way. Being active on social media is a must if you want to amplify your message, even if you hate social media. I'm not a fan of many of the platforms. I don't understand TikTok. I guess I'm just getting old. My son loves it. To me, it's just like, why would anybody watch this? But it is an excellent way to amplify your message. Movements have been started on Twitter. Look at TikTok. It is taking over the world. It's going to be like the next big e-commerce platform. Influencers have changed the way that we think on LinkedIn. A vision can inspire followers on Instagram. You can amplify your brand and your message if you use social media intelligently. Now, you can hire a firm to help you with this, but I personally don't use them. No one can replicate my message, tone, vision, and I never want to come across as inauthentic. Plus, I enjoy creating my messages. Words are my gift to the world, and I want to use them in a way that is authentic and that's me, and I have to write if it's going to actually be me. So it's not to say that these firms aren't helpful and good, but I would recommend that you at least get started writing your own social media posts and building that authentic brand. I also use a simple media post manager to create my posts in advance. There's plenty of them out there. So it pushes your message, your post to all the platforms that you engage with, and it makes a huge difference. You can have a consistent message. You can modify for each platform and what their format is, and it saves you a ton of time. Using your words. That's my next piece of advice. You have to use your words and refine your message if you want to amplify it. Write articles, speak at events, contribute to association publications, book interviews, reach out to podcast hosts and ask to go on their shows. There's so many avenues for you to amplify your message, but you have to use them. And using them well means that you must put the effort into the words that you write and speak. I also recommend hiring a speaking coach. I hired one recently and it has been such a game changer. She has helped me refine my storytelling skills. She's taught me how to use voice inflection to create emotion. She's helped me create different versions of my story and my message for different audiences. She's amazing and it's a huge help. Another pro tip, use Grammarly when you're writing. While it's not perfect, it can turn mediocre writing into decent writing, and it will really help you get better at clarifying your message and making sure that you don't have silly typos that will tarnish your credibility. Public relations. Final tip. Hiring a PR firm can also help you get your message out, especially if you don't have time to do some of these things yourself. A good PR firm will refine your message and they'll find avenues for you to speak and write. They have all kinds of connections with media outlets and they can write articles and give you an interview. So it's a way to fast track all of this. So hopefully that helps you come up with some ideas on ways that you can amplify your message. The only way to do it is to do it, unfortunately. Movements have to be started by people getting out there and saying what needs to be said and really making an impact and changing the world. So don't be afraid to amplify your message. Okay, question of the episode. This question comes from a Reflect Forward listener, and she says, Kerry, I often find myself getting frustrated and annoyed over little things. What can I do to stop myself from getting upset all the time? I love this question. It's a good one. And I'm going to talk about my Peloton. I love riding my Peloton spin bike. I am addicted to it. Not only are the classes challenging, but I am inspired by the instructors because they tell moving stories and they have thought-provoking comments. And I laugh and I cry all the time. On a recent Peloton ride, the instructor, Jess King, my favorite, taught me a new acronym that I cannot stop telling others about. And I apply it to my daily life with diligence because I too can get annoyed easily. And the acronym is WAIT, W-A-I-T. Some people have used this as why am I talking? But this instructor said, I use it and I ask myself, why am I tripping? Why am I getting upset about this? Why am I tripping? Oh my gosh, this is brilliant. So I like to think of myself as a positive, optimistic person, but I too get frustrated, like I said, and I get annoyed and I even get angry sometimes. And I'm pretty good at letting things go quickly, but I am like her, this woman who asked this question. I too let unimportant things get to me sometimes, if I'm being honest with myself. And I always try to be honest with myself. So I have been using this WAIT mantra to help me. So as soon as I feel my temperature start to rise, I pause and I ask, why am I tripping? Wait, is feeling angry and annoyed worth it? Can I change anything about this situation? Does getting angry serve me well right now? Does it help me show up as the positive, optimistic person I believe myself to be? Is acting this way helpful to me or anyone else? I have found that 99% of the time, the answer to these questions are no. They just aren't that big of a deal. Seeing this has helped me change my mindset and my reactions. So instead of letting the annoyance ruin the moment, I let it go. Instead of complaining or criticizing, I respond in a positive, more inspiring way. I also remember that I do things to annoy and frustrate people too. And so it's really helpful if I am kind and compassionate and forgiving of other people too. I also apply WAIT when I'm upset and I challenge myself to say, what's going on inside of me? I usually find myself getting emotional, annoyed, upset when I haven't slept well. So I don't want to feel this way. So am I getting enough sleep? Am I exercising? Am I eating right? Am I doing the things that I need to do to take care of myself? And so when I get into those moods where I'm feeling annoyed, I use WAIT to really challenge myself to think about how I'm taking care of myself and am I doing the things that I need to do to keep myself into a good mood. While it's not always easy to control those emotional flare-ups when you are feeling annoyed and frustrated, it is helpful to be able to use this acronym, WAIT, why am I tripping, to just pause and ask yourself, is this something that's really worth getting upset about? And if the answer is no, then let it go, move on, be compassionate, be forgiving, understand that you do things that bug the crap out of people too, and you want their forgiveness and you want them to be able to accept you for who you are, so you should do the same. WAIT, why am I tripping? I've really found that this is helpful. Ever since I've started using it, I've had more meaningful interactions with people and I'm able to diffuse my emotional situations. I'm definitely more accountable to myself. I hope you found this helpful. I find that it can be a powerful tool to create a healthier, more fulfilling life, and that's what this is all about. All right, that is Reflect Forward for today. I hope you all enjoyed. I look forward to hosting you next week. Please, if you like this podcast, consider liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing, writing a review, rating, all of those things that help podcasters move up the ranks. Have a great day. Take care.